Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Now, if you have ever created SOPs, onboarding documents, or product walkthroughs manually, that too by say taking screenshots, writing steps, or formatting everything manually, you know how time consuming that gets. So in this video, I'm going to show you a platform called a Scribe that helps you create step-by-step guides automatically. And more importantly, we'll see how businesses are actually using it. So you're going to cover three use cases today. One, how to build client or employee onboarding guides. Two, how to build employee training documents with a basic example of how to add a contact on a CRM. And third being a product demo guide, which we can share with our clients. So let's quickly jump in. Now, first of all, what is Scribe? So Scribe is a documentation tool that automatically creates these step-by-step guides while you're performing a task on your screen. So it captures the clicks, the inputs, and the entire workflow and turns them into clean, shareable documentation. Now, let's quickly dive into our first use case. That is building a document for onboarding a new employee. Now, ideally, when a new employee is onboarded, we usually need to explain them things like how to log into tools, how to access dashboard, how the internal processes work. So we are taking a use case over here wherein if there is a new employee that is joining and we want them to join our Slack workspace. So they need to create an account. So what are the steps to create a account on Slack is say our first step to building that guide. So how does this work is when you see over here on the platform, there are these options for adding a new document or creating a new step-by-step guide. For this, what we need to do is we need to install the Scribe's Chrome extension. Once that is done, we just need to navigate to the link from which we want to start our tutorial or our guide from. Then when I click on that particular extension, on the right hand side, there is a panel of Scribe that opens up. Now to log in the steps, what I need to do is I need to click on start capture over here. So when I click on that, as you can see, it will start and I have my first step. So now it has started capturing the browser. My first step over here is to say add my work ID. So what I'm doing is I've just added that and I'll click on continue. So as you can see on the right hand side, it has started adding those particular steps. So say for example, these are my 4 steps right now to have that particular guide created. So when I click on complete capture over here, it will take a couple of seconds over here to build that entire documentation. And as you can see over here, I have my first document ready, wherein my objective over here was to create an account on the Slack. So as you can see, the first step, navigate to that particular website, then click on the email address. And as you can see, it has even highlighted those clicks over here. So it has completely added this entire workflow. Now, instead of having my email ID over here, I can even edit this by saying that, say, type your email. Yeah. So this way I'm creating a complete guide over here wherein a person understands or a new employee understands how to use Slack to create their email ID and then join a particular Slack workspace. Even say, for example, if I want to change the title and the description, I can do that. So I can just put this as how to create Slack account. And I can add in the description. So if you can see over here, what it did is when I clicked on add description, it automatically created the description with me using AI. And when I am done editing, I can click on done editing. And if I want to share this with my employees or new employees that I'm hiring, all I need to do is click on share. And there are multiple options that I get in terms of sharing. Do I want it in the format of this crawl documentation? Do I want it in the format of a video? So it creates a movie link for that. Or do I want it in the slides format? So if I'm say opening a slides format, I copied that link and I'm pasting it in a new tab. So I'll be able to see this is how it looks like. When I click on get started, it shows exactly those steps in a slide format. So it becomes easy for anyone who is a first timer using platforms or logging into it or that entire onboarding process for employees quite smoothly. What else can I do is we know that employee onboarding or client onboarding are extensive processes. It's not just one thing. So you can build documents like the one that I'm showing over here, wherein you can add as much as text you want the forms. You can add those links to it, which are required for onboarding the employee, and multiple platforms where you would want to provide access to your employees. You can build individual guides for them and add it over here. So this is how you can build a complete onboarding documentation in Scribe itself. Now, moving on to the next use case that we have, that is on training of your employees. So how do we build training guides? A very basic example is, if I have a salesperson who has joined my team and I need to explain that entire process of creating a record or creating a prospect on the CRM. Now, obviously in my training, I'm covering that, but the biggest challenge with employees is retention of the information that is being passed out. So I can create these small guides to share with them on every single step to ensure that at any given point of time, when they forget or they're not able to recollect, or when they're actually just starting out, they can refer to it and then follow those steps. So again, I have logged into my CRM, and what I'm going to do is I'll again open Scribe. I'll click on Start Capture. And once it just gets loaded, what I'm going to do is I'll follow the entire process. So now my process over here is, if I want to create a prospect, I'll click on Create Prospect first. I'll add the name. I'll add the LinkedIn profile. I'll add, say, the designation. I'll add the company name. And then I'll click on Save. So this is how I have created my contact. And I'll click on Complete Capture over here. So again, it will take a couple of seconds to build that entire step-by-step guide. I'll show you one very interesting thing over here. Is, say this guide is created. Okay, I have my complete guide ready. Again, I have added the description, and we can have an AI generated description created. So that's how it has created it, or I can even add it manually. Now, interesting thing over here is that, say, for example, if I want to add any particular step that I have missed out on during my entire walkthrough of that platform, I can click on an add button over here. So if you see, what we did is we filled in details like the name, the LinkedIn profile, designation, the company name, but there are other fields as well. So if, say, I've forgotten to add them, or if I've missed out on it, all I need to do is just click on the add button over here. I can click on the step, or I can capture it, and then that is done. What I can also do is I can add tips over here. Tips in terms of, say, if at a particular step, I know that I would want the person to have a certain insight before doing it. So I can click over here and I can click on a tip, and that tip gets generated. So I can just then edit it, that take care of data duplication. So say this is just one of my tips that is say. Moreover, if I want to say interchange certain steps, if I want to add this tip not over here but somewhere else, I can even do that by simply dragging from the left hand side cursor over here. And finally, I say have my particular guide ready for how to record a prospect on Zoho CRM. So when I click on share over here, what's going to happen is that I can copy this particular link and I can just paste that in another section. And finally, what I even have over here is, in terms of, say, when I am as an employee, I'm using this particular thing, I can click on the guide me button over here. So what is the guide me button is basically on the right hand side panel, Scribe opens that entire document or that tutorial, and it guides me right from step one. So step one was navigating to the particular webpage that I did. Second step is creating prospect. So as you can see here, directly, as in when I'm moving on to the next steps, it is giving me indications as to what to click. So when I again click on this, the next step comes in, when it's asking me to type the name of the prospect. So on the right hand side, again, when I click on next, it moves on in the exact manner of what all steps need to be followed. So this is how it doesn't just help us in terms of having a document created, but also an actual guide who can help with filling in the details or doing these activities in real time. So this is how Scribe acts as not just for documentation purpose, but a virtual guide itself for you. Now, moving on to our third use case. The third use case is very interesting. That is more on the lines of how can we give a product demo to a client or a prospect without actually getting on a call with them. What we have recently seen is that a lot of times products are directly built to use. It doesn't require any onboarding. It doesn't require you to get on a specific demo with a client. You just need to ensure that the client knows how to use it. So in this case, say for example, I've built an expense tracking application and I want to give a quick guide of this to a client or give a quick demo of this to a client. Again, all I need to do is just click on start capture and I need to capture that entire process or the workflow of how to use this application. So once it is loaded, I'll just click on add record. So I'll just show, enter description, enter total amount, enter notes, enter date, category, who has paid. So what I'm doing evidently over here is I'm just adding details or data in a form to show how this form can be used. So this is one way of doing it. Second is, say for example, if I have another part of that application, if I want to navigate to for the particular person to view, I can even do that. And then I can complete capture. So I give a quick walkthrough of one in the expense tracking application, how to add a record. Second is how to navigate to the dashboard. So I can break this into two sections as well over here. Like I know that the first section was about how to add a record. The second section that I moved on at the end was going to the monthly spending category. So what I can do over here is I can simply put in the heading over here as navigate to dashboard. So this way I'm able to exactly have the two sections bifurcated as well. And finally, I can again add that description and I can share this as a demo with my client. And similarly, say for example, I'm done doing this and click on share. I'll copy this link again. This is again the scroll mode that we have. And I'll click on guide me. So what I've done over here is again, I want to follow the same process wherein I want a virtual guide to give that entire demo to my client. So again, as you can see over here, it is guiding every single step that, okay, do this, this is what you need to do next. That is how it works. So similarly, if I want to say create a virtual demo of my platform for a client, this is how I can do this. What this is going to help me do is save time in terms of giving a complete demo. Second is it makes that entire exploration to onboarding journey seamless for a customer because they've already tested and tried out your platform. So is how you can use Scribe for building multiple such documents, multiple such workflows and guides. And if you found this useful, then please do like and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. And thank you so much for watching this one.